Welcome to the No Huntsville Show.
The show about Huntsville arts and culture. I'm Daniela.
And I'm Tom, and you know we love Huntsville's creativity and eclectic culture.
But there's so much happening in Huntsville, we just can't keep up.
So we're excited to announce No Huntsville is expanding with 4 new shows with 4 new hosts.
A new hip-hop show called The Come Up with DJ CO and Lloyd G.
A new food culture show called 86 with Chef Jeremy and Chef Ruth.
A new comedy show called Front Row with Scott Eason.
And a new on-location show called Alex Tries with Alex Hendricks.
So tune into this space as we continue to show you the creativity that makes Huntsville.
Huntsville.
No Huntsville, no Huntsville, Rocket City, no Huntsville, no Huntsville, no Huntsville, no.
We got the thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Welcome you guys to this version of the Spice Cast with No Huntsville. We're putting the shoe on the other foot. You guys can interview me some if you want, but I'm sure does it feel weird to like be the interviewees, or are y'all just so used to it?
We're just used to talking, so
Yeah,
it's totally
I think that's probably what it is.
as long as we're talking, we're happy.
I've actually done this show before. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Oh, yes.
It was a while ago, though.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It was, a different era for both of us.
There you go.
And like a lot has changed. You guys are growing immensely. It has been discussed and broken to the public already. You have heard about it.
Yes.
No Huntsville is expanding to 4 new channels.
4
Yes,
new
including
shows.
our show.
Including
so.
our 5 total.
Yes.
And what we're trying to finally do is get our hands around everything going on in Huntsville, and it's quite a task. So
Oh,
we
definitely.
brought on some help. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's really cool to get like more ideas, more angles on
Yeah.
all the stuff that's happening, because there is so much and it's growing like
Right.
immensely. It's always something new. I'm very excited for Alex Tries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Alex Hendricks
Yes.
will be going and trying all sorts of things.
Let me just say, since you mentioned her first, she is amazing on camera. So what people might not know, and everybody knows she's got that great personality, is kind of outgoing and bubbly, and she's very self-deprecating. She's a very funny person.
My favorite.
But when she's put on the spot and put cameras in front of her, I've never seen her shine like this. It's pretty impressive. So she's taken to this.
He's a big fan.
I'm a huge fan of Alex, and I didn't
That's
know
who
it
you
was going to
want.
be like
Just never
that.
talk about me like this,
That is
Tom.
not.
No, okay.
That's not
Okay,
true. I
okay.
do it all the time. But she stepped in for us a couple times, and she just did such a bang up job. And it was her.
She's incredible and
She approached
hilarious.
us about it. I
Yeah,
think
she
if
did.
that-
She sent us a message and was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this may sound crazy," and we both were like, "Yes,
Yeah.
you get a show."
Right.
And then, like,
That's how
I
it
think
works.
that kind of sort of triggered something in Tom because maybe a week later, I get a message from him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "So, what about this?" And he basically pitched 3 other new shows in areas that, like he said, we have so much going on in Huntsville that we just couldn't keep up. We were doing 3 interviews a night, like every Tuesday,
every
Tuesday night. And I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was, because he has boundless energy.
Right.
But basically, he's like, what if we have a hip hop show with our friend DJ CO? And then CO brought in Lloyd
Lloyd G,
Holloway,
yeah.
Lloyd G, who
Yes.
will be hosting this.
Who's been
And then
very active for a long time.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
he knows the ins and outs of the
Holloway
scene.
has been like an incredible resource for me. Like when
Yeah.
I was like trying to tap into the hip hop community in town, he's
Right.
brilliant.
Sure.
So it was a no-brainer. And then Tom reached out to his friend Scott Eason to host the comedy
Hilarious
podcast.
guy, my favorite comic in town. I have to
Yeah,
say.
he's delightful. And then we reached out to Ruth Mercado, the head chef over at the Lumberyard, and Jeremy Esterly, who will be opening up Fat Sammy's here in the near future. And it just kind of fell into place. And the first people we reached out to, they were like, yes,
That's so
absolutely.
And it's just worked out brilliantly. I was really, it's always nerve-wracking bringing new people in and trying to share with them your ideas and trying to see how it'll be interpreted and how they put a spin on it, right? But it's
Definitely.
been a really neat experience. But I think it came from Alex a little bit, but also the hip hop scene is so massive here, and we really just didn't have an idea how big it was. And we started interviewing some of the local hip hop artists, Lady Lace, who I'm a huge fan of, and
Did some work for y'all. So.
That's
Yeah,
right. Did
our
our
theme song.
We did our
Yeah,
theme
so
song.
awesome.
and that's-
Sometimes her,
and that's
sometimes
how-
Tony, sometimes her.
Yeah, and that's how we met her. She redid our theme
If
song.
you want to redo our theme song, just
Right,
holler at us.
yeah. Actually, all bands open
All
invite
bands,
to
it's
do that.
open.
It's really funny. But then we started interviewing like Montclair and Young City, and and so once the floodgates sort of opened, and we started getting contacted by a lot of hip hop artists, and there was just no way to cover it, and And what I was noticing is I haven't been in that scene. It's not my wheelhouse. So when we're interviewing, people are missing out on some of those key insights that I would have had if I would have been in the scene, right?
Right.
And you can see that we have already filmed, obviously, our first episodes of our shows. We got surprises coming around the corner. But when you watch like the hip hop, the come up actually interview a guest, you're like, they're talking about 15 years ago when they saw this person, or how this reminded them of that stuff that we wouldn't have been able to tap into. Now that you have like that subject matter expert. They can tap into it, and you can develop really good conversations.
Oh, definitely.
So that's how we're seeing it kind of evolve here, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and it was fun because like we loved interviewing and learning. A lot of times we're learning things about the community, no matter what topic it is, and it's nice to be able to sit there from that learning perspective. But to his point, sometimes like to have that good quality interview and like something people can really sink their teeth into, you have to have an expert.
That insight.
And there's no way I'm going to ask a comedian some background and really understand or be able to spin that into another question like Scott could. Right? Scott's a touring comedian. He goes to places. He knows
and he teaches people comedy too.
And
that's a whole nother
and he
thing.
knows that grind. So when he's talking to other comedians, or he's going to be in the green room talking to real A-list comedians that are coming to town, like to stand up live, he'd have these conversations where I would never be able to have that conversation. I just don't have that experience. So, and he does. And so, again, in that same insight, and same with our chefs. These are real chefs. They're in the front line. They're ordering their food. They know where they're sourcing their material from. So when they go into somebody else's kitchen, which 86 will be, they really have that insight, and they can bring other people who are foodies or chefs or in the restaurant industry really inside with them, which makes it really interesting.
I know I harassed Ruth immediately. I was like, hey, if you need anybody as a co-host, just there, to like be like, yeah.
You'd be like the unofficial taste tester on every episode.
Definitely.
Well, we all want that role, actually.
I know.
So
I'm sure there's a line. But
he got to film the last one, and I'm like, so I'll be there the next time.
Right, yeah. We'll just keep switching it around. Yeah.
Bring the
Well,
wet
that night
wipes
I was
with
out
you.
drinking wine and whiskey with Alex, so it wasn't that
you
bad.
were she was still doing her job.
Y'all are getting the right idea. I mean, make your
This job is so
work. Yeah,
hard.
it's like, we gotta go sample all this the absinthe that's straight to ale or something. Keeps coming. But and getting back to like hip hop and that huge scene, that's really like a global and international scene. People like Cody G doing work all across, doing conferences everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's people like Trans Lee or something who came from here and they like grow up and blow up in Atlanta.
I love Trans Lee. I'm so glad you mentioned him. I'm such a huge fan.
And people don't know about that. It's like he's big in Atlanta, but Huntsville is like, what? He's from here? So there's that whole like groundswell that I'm so glad y'all are supporting too.
Yeah.
And bringing in that angle. But yeah, the food, I'm super excited. I'm pretty excited about all these shows.
Right.
Comedy with Scott Eason. I'm sure he's gonna get some interesting guests because he works over there at Stand Up Live, and there's like some huge names coming through, and like and also we've been lucky enough to pull Stand Up Live as a sponsor of Scott's show. So we will have all the insights of anybody coming to town, and when they do come to town, Scott will be with them, talking to them in the green room. We'll be able to clip out some of their act and put that as part of his episodes, and then also he will be making sure that he covers and also kind of talking to other venues about who else is coming to town in the coming up months. So he's going to be behind the scenes. You get to see some of the acts, and then you get to hear about what's coming next. And that's all through Stand Up Live and all the other networking that he does here. Yeah,
that one's going to be great. So if you love comedy, he's like going to have those insightful interviews, but then literally a rundown every month of like, this is what's to come, so don't miss it. Which
right.
I think it's great.
And we should say it's all at nohuntsville.com.
That's right.
Of course, on Facebook. I don't even know if I introduced you guys properly.
Oh, yeah.
My
Daniela
gosh,
and Tom from No Huntsville.
That's right.
Daniela
and Tom, we have a theme.
and Tom.
Are you going to sing our theme song?
Yeah,
Are you going to do our next remake?
Yeah. No Huntsville. I don't.
There it is.
I was
You're
hoping
hired.
we'd get something. Yeah, there. Don't do that. I'm definitely never been paid for it as a singer. That is for sure. But
you could do a upright bass rendition.
I'd be more comfortable with that.
Jazzy sort of, right? Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna brainstorm
do
this
that.
after. You think I'm kidding, but I'm
It's
not.
probably gonna happen actually.
Yes, No Huntsville, keeping it smooth. But you guys, like, as a dynamic duo, you've been interviewing people for a long time.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any interesting quirks about each other yet? Have you?
Oh my God.
Does anyone have a weird word that they always say? I always find that.
I say after every time someone answers a question on our show, and I notice this when I'm editing an episode, I say, awesome, and then like lead to my next question.
Really?
I have cut out like 3 awesomes
Really?
from the
You have to
last
turn
episode
down the
I
awesome.
edited.
I've never noticed that.
Oh, it's terrible. So
I never noticed that.
I do that. Tom and I are very similar.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
No. I was going to
finish
say,
each
look,
other's.
look, when you're doing interviews, and what you'll notice, and when I first started doing interviews, the thing you try not to do is have that dead air, right? That's always it's uncomfortable. Later on, you wind up editing out if you get too much of it. But the thought is, with good interview. With any good interview, you're leading into next questions. You're keeping that going. You have to have constantly thinking how can what they're saying be spun off into another question rather than making it seem so canned. I think what Daniela does well is to be able to fill that space, right? So she's thinking like that,
Right.
And where in the past where it was all on me to, because I was doing it solo for a while, and then. So you can't sit back and enjoy an interview. You have to really keep thinking the whole time. But when Daniela came in, it got to be where, I can relax a little bit. And if she sees that there's space about to happen, she jumps in. A lot of times we got to, you go ahead. Like we'll do that. We'll do that a lot, right? Because we're both ready. We're both ready. So that really relieves some of the pressure. And I'm sure on the same side too. Whereas it didn't feel like I have to carry the whole thing the whole time.
For sure.
And that allows me to sit back and enjoy and then really build up for a better question later is the thought behind that.
Right.
And Daniela does a pretty good job at that.
Shucks.
I
So-
feel like having like 2 people is really cool for getting a different perspective, and like it seems like the other person's always going to ask some question that you didn't think of.
And we both have different areas of
Yeah.
like expertise and interest.
Yeah.
Like it overlaps a lot, but
Yeah.
there's things I don't even know how to ask a question about, and I think vice versa.
Right.
And so we really kind of play off each other that way. And one thing that it just astounds me about Tom, I kind of mentioned this earlier, is like his ceaseless energy. Like
It's cocaine.
he deals
Pure cocaine.
secret.
he deals with me wonderfully
It's
because
expensive, but it works.
at like
What all sponsors are for.
Sponsors. Like, no, it's getting dark.
Anyway.
Anyways.
But no, like when I hit a wall, I can get snippy. And I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. I'm ready to go to bed, Tom.
Yeah.
Like I want to go home. I got to see my dog.
Tom's ready to dig in
But
deep.
he just like constant ideas. How can we keep it fresh? What can we do that's new? How about we try this? Let's rearrange this. Like,
Well, you're competing with so much
constantly.
these days. Like
It's a lot.
we're competing with ADD, the internet, and everything, all the human knowledge of the last whatever years. It's kind of like
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
blast it out there.
Well,
and-
he just constantly is thinking of the next thing and executing it, and in the studio building a dagnab stage on a Saturday, and like he just constantly goes, and then I just roll in there like, all right, let me ask some questions. Cool, peace out. Like,
Well, the thought is we do a lot of work now, and the stuff kind of comes to us and flows later. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping is happening. And
Yeah.
I really like building something, right? So
for
it's kind
sure.
of neat. It's kind of neat seeing it, grow, and then bringing other people in that can help expand it. So it's not all on you. You kind of delegate and get some of that workload out, which improves everybody, I think. So
I think y'all went through the same like life cycle as we did. Like when we were starting out, we're gonna do a podcast on local musicians,
Yeah.
and we thought, we'll do like 6 months, a year, and then we'll like run out. And I feel like both of us have just been, and it's been like 5 years later. It's like
Yeah.
years later. And I mean, how did y'all feel about when or Tom specifically, when you started it? Did you have like a range of it, or did you have the more faith than we did in like how far it was gonna go? Or
No,
how deep it was gonna
I
go?
think T-Mel asked this
Yeah.
same question. And I'm wildly, at least in the beginning, I was really optimistic about it. I told him on his show that I really thought this was going to be a radio show. I thought this could be an interesting radio show, and my ultimate goal was to put this on WLRH. Like
Right.
that was I was going to get Brett to have my own show, and it was because I was going to do all the hard work and already make all the networking, and he was just going to let me. Well, I mean, he had other
We had ideas
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
yeah,
So,
sure.
but it's funny, and but I did think it was going to get bigger, only because I really thought the content is here, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, so it wasn't like you had to go out and search for it. I mean, most of the time the guests come to us and tell us they got this thing going on,
and that's incredible to me.
Yeah.
It's like how many people reach out to us. We never
Really?
have to try.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really nice to see how
I mean, we
people...
strategically try to get some events on board because obviously they're
Yeah.
big events, or they need a lot of coverage, and if we miss out on that, it seems like we're not in the game anymore or something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. But as far as having to find new content or find somebody new doing something, or
Never
new
hard.
artist, it's always there. In fact, the reason we were expanding out the show is because we feel like we couldn't keep up.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so now, I had like 8 actual shows that I wanted to start. We're paring it down to the 4 extra ones.
Well, I know
But-
there were some ideas before.
That's the thing is, I'm the Debbie
Yeah.
Downer all the time. Where he's like,
Yeah.
let's do all of this, and I'm like,
Right.
well, I don't think all of that's gonna work.
and because it won't, and it's true.
Let's
You
like
can't-
not overload ourselves.
And when adding 4 shows is, I can't believe how much work it's been.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I was about to
been-
say.
It's been insane, and
Think
we're
of
not.
think of the editing, Tom.
Oh, I
think
know.
of the
and
editing.
actually, so we brought in some help with the editing.
That's
so
awesome.
that's been a big deal.
Yeah,
That's
his name
huge.
is Randy. He's a great guy, and he does
Amazing.
does
This is what he
for like a
does.
living. And so we're like, would
so
you
good.
like to help our lowly local podcast? And he was like, yes, absolutely.
And what you're going to notice, at least when we drop the first episode of, I think Alex Tries is going to be the first episode we drop, you're going to notice a production quality that we haven't had.
Yeah,
yet to this point.
definitely.
So that's what we're really excited about.
And you've
'cause-
revamped everything. Like, got the new logo.
Right.
I love the shirt.
Yes, we're going to be branding out new shirts like this all the
I
time.
like keep forgetting. We've done two of these now, where I just roll up looking like hellacious, and then I'm like, oh, this is on video.
Yes.
So
Well, so we'll have
I'm
a new,
heading to the gym after
we'll
this,
have
guys.
a new store, so you'll be able to purchase shirts for everybody's show. We have bumper stickers. We're going to be developing new different types of shirts that I think are Huntsville centric. There's a couple other
Cool.
people that do that in town, and they're really good at it. But
Yeah.
we have some ideas ourselves, so we'd like to do that. But again, keeping in mind that anytime you support No Huntsville or you buy a shirt, it goes really back into keeping the lights on at our studio, so we can help promote more bands, more artists, and musicians. So we're gonna.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like, y'all have new sponsorships. A lot of people
Yes.
helping you out. Like, Green Bus was
Green
representing
Bus is
hard
on
over
board.
at the last taping I was at.
Yes.
Which is a very interesting place. It's like it's right by that church. What is that? Trinity? I don't know.
Nativity. Church of
Nativity.
Nativity.
It's got a T
yeah.
in there.
Green Bus. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
right there.
right down the
On
road.
Euston.
Downtown Brewery.
They have
That's right.
half of a bus in there.
And they have amazing beer,
I've
so
never
check them
seen
out.
the
Wall.
bus. How is that?
It's up high. It's
never
like
seen
a
it.
front. It's like a
it's
grill.
the front of the bus cut off and put against the wall.
I just need to see it. I've been there a million times, and I've never visually spotted the bus.
It's a very laid back
think
place.
I've-
Like, there's always a good like mix of folks there, and like you could have a meeting there, or you could just hang out all night. Seems like.
very chill.
Yeah,
so-
and they got different types of beer. They also have
Cider and
yes,
mead.
and meads and all kinds of stuff.
Mead's
It's a-
usually sweet, right? Is it, or is it?
Not that really.
I thought
not
it
that
was-
I don't
much.
know.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know anything.
No.
I don't know enough.
Jeez, Ben.
Go there and check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find out.
So like we have Green Bus who just came on board
That's
and
right.
is wonderful. And then for a long time now, Dostal Beer House
Dostal,
and
yeah.
Earth and Stone, Wood Fired Pizza have been sponsors of the show,
That's right.
and they have really supported us a ton and made it possible that we felt like we could grow in this way
Right.
because we saw the buy-in from the community and people who wanted to see No Huntsville succeed. Like these are businesses that do really well for themselves, but they're still like, yes, we will support your show and sponsor your show, and whoever sees your ads for us and comes in, that's great, but really it's all about how much we support the cause,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
which has been wonderful. And then
And it's so good that they're like almost all locally based.
oh,
They
only
all-
They're
that's
our
all we
sponsors
do.
will
Local,
only ever
yeah.
be
No,
local.
we're going to be pretty strict about our sponsorships. They're not going to
Yeah.
be chain based generally. They're going to be local businesses. They got to be help. I mean, we meet all the owners of all of our sponsors. We sit
Definitely.
down with strategy and we talk about this
Yeah.
is what we want to do, and it has to be mutually beneficial. If we're not. We really need to help people come to their stores or buy stuff online because we want it to be a symbiotic relationship where they're getting something out of it and not just for the cause, right?
Exactly.
The
It
music
should
scene
be
has
something
to
good.
learn
And if
that
we're not-
same thing.
And we're
too.
not working for them. We need to move on and find another sponsor. But we do really want to promote local businesses. And so you mentioned Dostal, you mentioned Green Bus and Earth and Stone.
And now we have new sponsors coming on for the new show.
I'm so excited about our new sponsors. So first of all, Grub South.
Yeah.
Talk about a business that is right here out of Huntsville. They're competing with some big guys, so it's important to really support these guys. If you type in No Huntsville at checkout, it's a 10% discount.
There you go.
10% off just typing in No Huntsville.
You never have to leave your couch.
Please make sure you
Except
support
when the food comes.
That's the goal.
And by the
Turn
way,
on an episode of No Huntsville.
There you go.
Order your food from
Order your
Grub
food.
South.
There you go, and
Type
get
in
10%
Make an
off.
evening of it.
But also, look, they have their service kicks butt. I mean, they have a great website. The food gets to you quick. It's an awesome. So why not do local rather than a company that's not local?
And some other local not local company will come in and they'll lay off everybody at the drop of a hat, or if their stocks turn down.
Yeah.
But these people are like in our community.
These are local people.
I mean, they employ local people too. So
That's exactly right. So they're supporting the economy here. Also, downtown. What did you want?
I was going to say DHI
Okay.
too. Yeah,
We'll
we're on
do
the same
DHI.
wavelength.
yes.
And Chad Emerson has been a fan and a supporter of the show in the
Our
past.
studio's right downtown. So.
Right.
But I mean, DHI does all the great stuff that happens downtown, and he obviously that organization is really helping Huntsville become this great destination place. So we want to. I mean, that to me is a perfect fit, right?
Yeah.
They're being downtown the way they are. So we want to say thank you to DHI, and we're going to
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chad. And
We've roasted him on the show before.
Yeah,
We're
plenty of times.
really thankful that he
we're
came on
We're
as a
always on a
sponsor.
thin line with Chad.
Yeah.
We always give him crap about
You
everything.
gotta keep him guessing though.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He tunes
We're gonna
in,
keep
he
it. We're
never
gonna keep it
knows.
lively.
Never
Yeah.
knows.
And then we also
love you this time,
brought
Chad.
a brand new sponsor on called Better Days Barber. They're up off they're near Oakwood University.
Okay.
No, Oakwood College. Is it Oakwood College?
University. I think.
University.
It's university.
Yeah.
I couldn't think. Okay. They're in that area. 2523 Bronco Circle.
Oh my gosh.
I might have the
He's like
2523.
we're calling the exact address.
No, I might
Go
have the
visit 'em.
2523. It's something like that. Bronco Circle.
Google
Bronco
it.
Look it
Circle's
up.
good.
It's a barber shop. They do everything. Beards. They have award-winning barbers. They came on as a
That's cool.
sponsor for the Come Up, which is obviously our hip hop show. They've been friends with those guys forever. You know, the whole hip hop scene. A lot happens in the barber shop. That's what these
Definitely.
guys are all about. So
Get your fade done right.
there you go, and get your beards trimmed up. DJ CO don't have any hair on his head, but he's got that beard, so he needs to get trimmed up there.
Oh, CO,
But
we love you.
Big up to those guys for really supporting us right off the bat. So we have some
Definitely.
great sponsors,
Yeah.
and you're going to be hearing us promote them on a regular basis.
For sure. So one more, like, couple questions before we get out of here.
Sure.
You guys brought in a lot of people to like help you expand the brand, which I'm sure was like super exciting, very nerve wracking,
Yeah.
like very just thrilling. What was someone's idea that they kind of brought in from outside that kind of threw y'all for a loop?
I
Or
got
like,
it already.
We're like, yes, it's great.
The Come Up, I'll talk real quick about the Come Up because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. I mean, Lloyd already had the segments ready before he came to the first meeting.
Yes.
But one of the segments, this is really cool. He calls it the Wave Report. It's the 5 top hits in Huntsville music. So he goes and gives a rundown, and it's all local artists, and he tells you
That's
what the
so
top
cool.
5 are, and he's called it the Wave Report.
That's so cool.
And we
also
just
have
filmed the first
16
one.
The show has like 16 bars where the guests have
Have
to
to
perform.
freestyle.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
freestyle,
it's-
16 bars.
So they have to come in. They lay down a beat, and you have to rhyme over it. And if you don't, you can't come on the show.
That's great.
So it's
That's great.
the bar is very high. I
Yeah.
mean, we had our first guest, and the dude destroyed it. So, I mean, the bar is so high right now. Anybody that comes on the show has to bring their A game, or
Yeah.
they're not
I
going to be
feel
on
like
the
that's
show.
just bringing the Huntsville bar up too,
Right.
because they're just
So-
like, and keeping that pressure. It's like that healthy competition that I love in the scene that I think
Right.
is really important. Like good gigs and shows like yours where people want to be on. You know, people are
Right.
contacting you. That helps people keep that quality up there and never start
Yeah.
lagging. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, the coolest thing we always thought about the show is when we had bands on, after we filmed them or put the segment out, people or those bands were using those as demos to get
Yeah.
gigs,
Mhm.
right? Because we're using good quality cameras. Sometimes
Yeah.
we actually have some good sound. So they actually get to use these segments as promotional
Oh,
spots, which
definitely,
I thought
yeah.
was I never thought of that before doing the
Mhm.
show, but since then I've gotten contacted by many bands that's what they do with their
For sure,
demos.
for
so
sure.
obviously the Come Up is going to be a place just like for
Definitely,
that.
yeah.
for
So
sure.
That
it's
one we're
4
very
channels,
excited.
guys. Four
4.
channels releasing all week long, correct?
4 new ones. Yeah. So
This week.
today we sort of just launched our announcement. You go to No Huntsville on Facebook, nohuntsville.com, or No Huntsville on Instagram. It's all there. And then each day this week, we're dropping an intro for each of the shows. You'll learn a little bit more about the host, a little bit more about what the show is going to be about.
Right.
And then next week, each day of the week, we're launching or we're dropping the first episode of each show.
That's right.
So Monday through Friday. Friday, we're launching our first official, like, the No Huntsville show interview with our new branding and everything.
Yeah.
And that is with, can I just go ahead and tell them?
Yeah,
That's with Lamont Landers.
Yes.
So, you were there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you know. But
was
that one,
there.
we're so excited. That one's dropping on Friday. So literally every day next week, if you go to No Huntsville on Facebook, Instagram, and nohuntsville.com and watch those episodes, because these people who've kind of come into our No Huntsville world are so talented.
Yes.
And they're putting in so much effort to create these shows that can really showcase Huntsville in an amazing way beyond what we were able
Y'all just
to
need
do.
a TV network now. Just like
Well, it's
stream it
coming.
No,
24/7.
don't give him any more ideas, at least for a
Tom, you
couple
want some
more
more work?
months. Like,
Also,
Daniela needs a break.
I need a break, guys. No.
yeah, we'll have a clothing line coming out, and then it'll be an airline and our steaks.
I know.
Also do auto detailing.
I love Alex for a million reasons, but one of them is that when I'm like, Tom, I just could not be there tonight, Alex like swoops in and like hosts the show with him, and I'm like, oh, Daniela gets a break.
Well, it's cool. Expanding the family of Huntsville culture.
Yeah.
And
And
thank
you'll
you
see
guys
us
so
pop
much
up
for what
on the
you
other
do.
shows,
I
too.
mean, like, you're
of
working
course.
hard.
You too.
Yeah, seriously, you guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
doing
Spice Raiders
incredible
been doing it
work,
from the-
and it's been amazing to see how, like, you know, Spice Cast and Paradox East and Uprising and all these other shows happening in Huntsville.
Oh,
when
yeah.
we've started talking about doing what we're doing now, it was like immediate support
Yeah.
from
Right,
everybody.
right.
How can
Yeah.
we get involved?
good
How can
community.
we help showcase it? And we'll
Definitely.
have it's just been. This
been pretty
community is
cool.
great.
The Cave Sessions is a new one that just got started.
Okay.
They're like a podcast. They're the cave, because apparently the Rocket City used to be the Cave City.
Yes.
And so they're going from
Yes,
that angle of it.
that's right.
But man, there's new stuff popping up all the time.
We forgot one thing.
We did.
Just bring it up.
I know what you're gonna.
You know it.
I know you do
Okay,
it.
go for it.
No, you know I was gonna say you do it.
The No Bros.
So
Can you do it at the same time?
what's the so my two? I have two boys. I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old who have.
I was
been,
gonna ask about the fate of that idea.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
here we
It's
go.
happening.
It's happening.
So
Okay,
really,
good.
we have a 6th show.
Yeah. This is a.
They
This
just
is
keep
a
ratcheting up.
yeah, I
you
know. This one's pretty good. So my 8 and 10-year-old came to me a while ago, and they were they wanted their own show.
Yeah.
And
As
I
any
said,
8,
all right.
10-year-old
From their
deal
father.
too.
And I said, all right, well, you gotta research and figure out what you guys want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
And you got to come up with a name. And if you come to me with all this stuff, we'll put something together. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
actually did. And so I don't know when. Oh, we didn't even think about when we're putting this stuff out. But we have 3 episodes filmed.
Nice.
It's called The No Bros, and it's my 2 boys, and they sit and they do a little bit of research and they do fun facts about Huntsville.
Uh-huh.
So the first episode they talked about the founding of Huntsville.
Mm.
The second episode they talked about Big Spring Park. And the third episode we filmed at the Space and Rocket Center for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. The moon landing, yeah.
So cute.
And we filmed there. And so we'll be putting out 30-second shows.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
They like
That's
memorize their lines.
They're
they
good.
like practice their delivery.
They're not
When you
bad.
first showed it to me, I was like, all right, let's see this. And it's so good.
It's good.
That's amazing.
So,
That's awesome. You
yeah,
started
be-
them early though.
Be
you
looking,
know, you're
be
like
looking for that.
He's
They're-
creating
they're
a
excited.
legacy for them to take over one day.
Yeah. Exactly.
generations of no.
I totally
The
forgot
No
about that.
Huntsville
Huntsvilleans.
Empire.
Yeah, we're gonna have an empire here soon.
Well, I'm so excited for the show, and it's out now. NoHuntsville.com. Please check it out. Y'all could. How do people like interact with you? Do you prefer email, or like if they want to they have ideas or anything like
Well,
that?
first on the website, so nohuntsville.com, we have a couple buttons. One, there's a contact us. There's a form you can fill out. There's also going to be another. There is a form right now. It says booking. So if you want to come on the show, you need to fill out that form. It gives you the opportunity to upload files and tell us about what you want and some dates and stuff like that. So you got to fill that out to book. We also do have an email address. I think the easiest email address to get a hold of us is tom@nohuntsville.com.
Or Daniela at
At
nohuntsville.com.
That's right. Well, I can think of one. And then
Tom is easier to
also, I
spell.
really wanted to tell you, we didn't promote it enough here, but we do have a mailing list now, and we really want you to join our mailing list because we are going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff on the mailing list on our website that we're not doing on Facebook and Instagram. So take how we are going to run contests all the time. We're going to try to give away stickers and shirts and hats, and we got coffee mugs now. We got
Fun swag.
pint glasses. We'll be giving that away on like a weekly basis, but only to the people who join our list. And What?
I was gonna say we're only sending the newsletter out once a month, and then now it's weekly.
No.
You heard it here
Well, I'm
first.
gonna give away stuff on a weekly, like a bumper sticker. Or
Got
something
it, got
like
it,
that.
got it.
But also,
But
we're
we're
gonna be.
announcing that through our monthly newsletter.
That's right. That's right. But we also will be giving insights into access to things that we wouldn't give access to other people on
Right.
Facebook,
Yeah.
like extras. Some of the behind the scenes stuff, maybe extended videos. We know the portion of the come up. The 16 bar section. We're gonna cut it down to a 3 to 4 minute segment, but that actually is a long segment because we want to find the best out of that, and we don't want to interrupt an artist when they're going through all their bars. So that's a long segment that we can leave for people who join our mailing list
Very
and
cool.
stuff like that.
So it'll be fun. Fun new stuff on the mailing list.
Oh man.
Join the mailing list.
Yeah,
Get
and if
in
you
the
were already
know.
on the mailing list, you got all of this news before everybody else. So
That's right.
Bam.
right.
Well, guys, thank you so much again. All our spicy guests get to tell us about their favorite spices before they leave.
Okay.
So I'll start with Daniela. What do you throw into a dish to just like kick it up? It doesn't have to be spicy, but a spice.
A spice. Okay, well, this is literally like my secret when I make my homemade tomato sauce is you have to put a dash of cumin in it.
Cumin.
Yeah. Like
I've heard both
that
ways of that.
just a little bit
That's
makes
it.
the
Okay.
Italian tomato sauce really great.
Secret Daniela sauce. What about Tom?
Mine's
What's
not
in the
interesting.
Sauce?
Mine is
What's
just-
in the sauce,
Just
Tom?
cayenne pepper. I like stuff hot.
That's good.
I mean, I like it hot too, but like,
Yeah, I'd probably just cayenne.
We'll spice it up. Thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Ben.
Like
Appreciate it.
it's always exciting, and I love watching you guys do your show. It's so it's so punchy and powerful. It's got a lot there.
Punchy and powerful.
powerful.
Do you have any upcoming shows that you're excited about or that you can talk about even
you know
yet?
what? Everybody
Just for your
follow
shows,
us.
I mean?
Follow us on
Get on the
No
mailing
Huntsville.
list.
Maybe the mailing list will have something to say about that.
Yeah, at No Huntsville, nohuntsville.com, and then our mailing list, and
That's
we'll
right.
know.
All right, guys, you want to do our tagline? Keep it spicy all together after 3.
Okay.
After 3. 1, 2, 3.
Keep it spicy.
Nailed it.
I love it.
That was
pretty good.
It's because y'all practice a little bit.
We're really good at talking in unison.